What is going on, Clippers fans? Welcome to Season 3, Episode 44 of Clips and Dip. I am Chuck Mockler. We got the full crew. We got Adam Oslin in his house, not his car. We have William Updike also in his home, not usually in his car. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for listening. If you're watching us at youtube.com/@Clippers Podcast, we appreciate that as well. We're going to be talking the Clippers 500 road trip. There was some good, there was some bad. We're going to talk what the Lakers move means for this upcoming game on Tuesday, as well as just kind of the future of the most hated enemies of the Clippers list, which I think firmly has a number one spot now. Then we're just going to talk maybe some other acquisitions the Clippers might make after their bombshell trade earlier in the week of PJ Tucker. Before we get into it, Will, I don't want to put you on blast, but you are making a roast today, and it looked delicious. How else? Is that how you're coping with this loss to the Raptors?
Yeah, coping with this loss to the Raptors, coping with how a certain other franchise can seem to just slam a plane into the ground and still get given a new one or find another way around. So, yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. All good stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Should we just open with that? Like, I don't know how we're going to go through a whole segment without talking about it.
Right. All right. Yeah, let's talk about it. What was this trade? How did this happen?
Incompetence. Massive incompetence. This is, I listened to Nico Harrison a little bit earlier today at that pregame presser.
Dude.
And I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in what they're doing.
Before he left, before he answered like three things and then was just like, all right, Jason Kidd has it from here. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.
Well, in case you didn't know, Charles, run down the trade. Like, it just if for some reason you're listening to this podcast, but you slept in very long yesterday or something, maybe went to bed very early, didn't see this around, what was it, 9 p.m.?
This has reached our grandmas. Like this, everybody knows about this trade.
Yeah,
Luka just in case you don't, let's run down the trade.
Luka Doncic is going to the Lakers. They also get Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris. Dallas gets Max Christie, Anthony Davis, and a 2029 first-round pick. Highway robbery.
One first-round pick.
Which is what happens when you don't start a bidding war. And I don't know how to word it without sounding not respectful. It's such a bad trade. Objectively, there's no way that it worked because they're not going to win a championship. Luka didn't want to leave.
It begs to me, it begs a pretty insane question though. Let's just say wildest case of scenarios, they somehow win a championship this year. I don't think it's pushed everything to the table for one chip. You're still losing out on 9 years probably of a star's peak or close to peak, and in return you've gotten an older, more injury prone star and one first round pick that is not going to be as good as the guy that you traded. So even if this played out in the bestest of case scenarios and they won a chip this year, you're still hacking off a pretty big portion of competitive years, I feel like.
Yeah.
Do you disagree? Adam, do you disagree? No, is a chip worth it?
I mean, it could be. It depends on what the Lakers do with Luka. They might only get one. So
a rival too. That's the thing. It's it's also a conference rival.
Insane. Is Mark Cuban no longer in charge? What is happening here with the Dallas Mavericks? Why would they?
Not, yeah.
They only work with the Lakers on this. Nobody knew about this, including Jason Kidd, but they're so tight, him and Nico Harrison, he was certain that Jason Kidd would be down with it, and he has to sit there and nod his head.
We've all been there. We've all made a call we thought our friend would be on board with.
I can't believe you look at the Donovan Mitchell trade. You look at the Rudy Gobert trade. You look at, I don't know, the Paul George trade and the amount of draft assets you end up getting.
The Marcus Smart trade. That had more assets to it.
I think it's two things. They hate Luka at this point. They hate him and they don't want him to get the Supermax, and they're cutting off their nose to spite their face. and they love Anthony Davis beyond a reasonable amount. Like, apparently they've been in love with Anthony Davis, who is a very good player. He has real health concerns, and he's 6 years older. So what are we doing
A
here?
lifetime.
And
He's a full contract older than Luka.
They've also that's a good way to look at it. They also cost Luka $150 million. So
I'm saying they hate Luka. They're stopping him from getting the Supermax.
They're running the risk of him just scoring 115 points against them every single time they play each other, which might be possible given the injury situation they have, which is unfortunate. Selfishly, I don't know who was above Luka in the most disliked rival, current rival players of this era of Clipperdom. I don't know who is above Luka, but there certainly is no one else above him now. After what we've gone through in the playoffs, and now that he's a Laker, he has to be the most, other than Joe Ingles. Like they're the 1A and 1B right now for least favorite people if you're a Clippers fan.
Yeah, they created the ultimate supervillain for the Clippers. Put Luka Doncic on the Lakers. As if we haven't seen enough of Luka Doncic. Now you get him 4 times a year in the Pac-Div. And he could have been somebody that the Clippers maybe had a chance at getting in the summer of 2027. He's not going anywhere. The Lakers aren't going to let him get away. This is over. This is their new franchise player. I've been saying for years, like, Luka's one of the greatest basketball players I've ever seen, and he's still this young. Right now, that is 25. I've never been a hater of the Luka antics so much because, I don't know, it's masked by all the great basketball shots that he has made, and I just don't care.
Mask off.
I get why some people hate him so much, but I've just never been like that because I'm so in awe of what a great basketball player he is that usurps everything else.
My hate usurps that part of it. So I guess I can understand where you're coming from.
Like, he's one of the greatest players ever skill-wise. They just went to the championship with him last season. For this to happen now and for him to be going to the Lakers of all teams, it is one of the most parallel universe, crazy, I don't know, just unbelievable Lakers luck type of good fortune for them.
Yeah, I mean, this was a 1 of 1 offer. There were no other offers floating around. It's just the thing is so absurd to me. And I got a little tinfoil hat about it yesterday. I was like, there's gotta be like, they have to know something about Luka's medicals or something like that. That's not looking good. Cause like, why else do you give away a franchise player for only a single, like, I mean, Anthony Davis is great. Don't get me wrong. But like, we're talking about 2 different stratospheres of basketball kind of, and what a franchise player can bring. And just with the age, and only getting 1 single pick, it kind of made my mind melt.
And do they piss Kyrie off now? We talked about how much it seemed
he
like
can't
Kyrie
be thrilled.
and Luka loved playing together, and that's why Kyrie was having such a good season, right? Because the vibes were so good.
Apparently he and AD are boys. Jason Kidd knows AD from being an assistant coach when they won with the Lakers in the bubble in 2020. Remember all the talk of Jason Kidd's going to take Frank Vogel's job.
Yeah.
There are relationships there, but yeah, Luka's Luka. To not get at least 3 first-round picks for him, even with giving up Anthony Davis to me, who I thought some people were looking at, that Anthony Davis contract could be somewhat problematic if he keeps getting hurt here. Maybe the conditioning issue with Luka is so bad that they are just banking. And I did have some thoughts about him.
Why wouldn't you take offers though? If it's really about the conditioning?
Crazy. It's crazy.
I guarantee you, like 28 other franchises don't fucking care.
Well, that's what somebody is saying. Nate Jones, who thinks he's the smartest guy in the room all the time on X. Sorry, but this was somebody
put the gun away, Adam.
Look, I have a receipt on him that is an all-timer where he asked, who would you guys rather have, D'Angelo Russell or Jamal Murray? And this is like in 2019 or something like that, when D'Lo had that 1 year where he was all-star reserve. And it seems like he's always talking down to everyone. It does seem like that. He's saying if they created the bidding war, Luka would then just force his way to one team. If you told Luka that we're trading you, he would
They'd
force
still
his way to
probably
one
get
team.
more.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
one team would go, oh, thank goodness. Here, have the world. Take it all. Like, do you think that the Kings can't get a ton still for De'Aaron Fox because the one team it sounds like he wants to go to is the San Antonio Spurs? Do you really think you're losing that much value or would get less for him than what they got from the Lakers? That's crazy. It tells me they're infatuated with Anthony Davis, and they hate Luka Doncic. That's what this is.
The smear campaign on his way out of them leaking the 270-pound thing and like all
That
this
is
other,
nuts, though. If he's
dude,
6'6", 270, that's
I don't.
that's
So
a big boy.
Okay.
I obviously dislike. I don't like Luka for competitive reasons and stuff like that. It is crazy to me that the organization would leak something like that. Like the Players Association.
That's heat behavior.
Dude, the Players Association has to have something to say about like telling your beat reporter to say that he weighs 270 pounds. Like that's crazy. That's not it's not like when fans make fun of Harden, which is also
Isn't that
disrespectful.
what like LeBron was? Like 280? I guess he was 280 when he was in Miami.
Well, but yeah, LeBron's, I think,
I don't think
different
it's that
build.
far-fetched, honestly.
He's 6'8" though.
I know,
There
but their
was-
build, LeBron is like
Luka's
cut
6.
differently than Luka.
6'6".
He is, but Luka this summer during the Olympics, I was watching tape like during the knockout round.
But
I
LeBron was
like,
strong.
what
280 is what
is
I was
going
saying.
on? Right, Luka though. I don't think it's that far-fetched that he was pushing close to 270 at some point over the last year.
I get that. I just mean the team literally because they already traded him. Like the trade had already happened, and then they were like, "Oh yeah."
Right,
it's
but
'cause
now you
he's
have to
fat.
justify it. So you have to say something like this.
Oh, well, and that goes to show how gross and messy it is. Just like how bad of it. Like when you have to do something like that, the trade probably doesn't feel great for everybody in the organization. I don't think.
Also, like this is an
Yeah.
organization that has swept some bigger stuff underneath the rug than somebody gaining a little bit of weight, and people
Right.
didn't lose their jobs for decades.
That's
So
a very
don't
good
like don't suddenly come in with this thing like, oh, he's been miserable, he's been so hard to work with, we just had to get off of him. Okay,
Yeah.
I think there are some staffers who would say otherwise about some other people that have been on the payroll and were allowed to do abominable things that was ignored by the organization. So I can't completely buy that it's just like, oh, he has a bad attitude, he's fat. Like I can't get it.
Yeah, well, apparently in this
He has
world,
a bad attitude. He's fat. That is literally what they're saying.
I'm guessing things are nasty behind the
have to
scenes.
be.
And I think the conditioning issues are real. It's something I've been thinking about for a while. It's like he keeps going down this path. It is going to affect him. Eventually it will catch up with you
The usage,
as you get older.
Like
Yeah,
we would see it like in the playoff series. It was obvious when he would become tired. And yeah.
He's so skilled that you think, oh, I can keep getting away with this because I have this pinpoint accuracy. But at some point, if you keep thinking that, I don't know, it could come back to really bite him. Like, but
Turned out fine for Harden. Like I don't
He-
know. Like watching James Harden right now. I'm like the way that this guy was kind of like conducting the way that he was taking care of his body for a while. I was like, I love watching James Harden so much. It's a bummer I'm not going to see him in 6 years. And he's like having a second renaissance right now. You could turn it around. You can get guys to buy in. Like I think the issue is on
Heat
you
culture.
at that point. Yeah.
No, I mean, despite any conditioning issues, it's a no-brainer trade. Any GM is making this move. Rob Pelinka did not have to go light years to make this
No.
trade. And this is the problem. It feels like the Lakers, like you alluded to start this conversation off, they set the rake down, they stepped on it, and everything came up roses still for them. They had 5 years where they averaged 25 victories. And what did that lead to? Getting LeBron James to come to their team somehow. Like they luck into these things. It doesn't matter. It's just that's what's really annoying.
They pivoted away from the entire identity that they won a championship with. Let like a third of the roster walk, and then tried to rebuild this whole new thing. And yeah, they made a Western Conference Finals appearance. Got absolutely washed. And now like they just luck into another new thing.
They have the guy that I've been saying I think is going to be the next face of the league when LeBron retires is playing with LeBron for the Lakers. This works out great for the NBA too. they get Luka in LA.
Yes. Luka, however, will not be in LA on Tuesday, which is when we play the Lakers. We as the Clippers, not us three, obviously.
There better be a washing that night.
So let's talk about that a bit, because with Anthony Davis, the Lakers were 26th in opponents' points per game in the paint. So I have a feeling we're going to talk about what happened today with Zubats not getting the ball when maybe he should have. Tuesday is a day where Zoo could have a 20-20 game. Who is playing? Jackson Hayes is going to stop Ivica Zubats? Like, this is a time for Zoo. Like, things could go crazy on Tuesday, or the other way, because it is the Clippers. So.
Having said that, they just won in New York over the third best team in the Eastern Conference against the Knicks.
Yeah.
Now they had Max Christie that game, who was actually really good, and he has been good. Like, his point of attack defense has been good, and he was great on Jalen Brunson. That's not nothing losing him either, considering he's just 21. And he looks like he can be a starting level type of really effective role player. But still, you got to get another first at least. But yeah, the Clippers, given what they did to him last time with AD, you would think this is a mismatch.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't just Zoo last time, right? We almost had the 420 club meet. If Kawhi scores one more point, we got 4 guys in 20 with at least 20 points. So, like, everyone was kind of getting what they needed against the Lakers last time. What do we think the defense looks like? Again, are we just packing this paint?
Oh, the Clippers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping Chris Dunn is back. That would be, I think.
What's your alarm level now for Chris Dunn's knee? You were a 1.5.
I mean, I'll go 3. He's missed how many games now?
Whole road trip? Yeah, he missed at least 5, 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
5 games, yeah.
I might go up to 4 if he doesn't play against the Lakers.
I'm going to go. My concern level is as many games as he's missed. That's what my concern level is. So I'm at a 5 right now. Will, what do you see happening on Tuesday? Because Clippers Lakers is always weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anthony Davis used to be almost added to that lore with that one that rimmed out. What do you think's going down on Tuesday?
I don't know. I'm hoping that we've kind of shaken off this road trip, which I feel like wasn't completely inspiring. I know we talked about at the top a little bit, but
we'll get into it.
Yeah. So I hope we see something a little bit more locked in, which I don't doubt. These games are always more amped up, but it is gonna be just another weird one. Like, what I mean, is this a throwaway game if you're the Lakers? No, because it's a conference game, it's a division game, it matters in the standings. But you're kind of working with a skeleton crew with Luka still out. So, yeah.
The Clippers need to hit first, hit hard, no mercy. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. What's Cobra Kai's motto? Do not let him think it's going to be some magical night.
Right. And we that's kind of where we saw the worst part of the Clippers on this road trip, right? Was starting the game not strong, be it against a Phoenix team that's just losing its mind from 3 or something crazy. Today, the defense just wasn't really there. Like you said, don't let them believe in the magic or whatever. Like, we don't want to give them any more momentum into when they get Luka back.
Well, and we need to assert that defensive identity, which I feel like was the issue today and what we've seen. I mean, obviously there's nothing you can do when teams are just shooting the lights out, but you do allow them to get into a rhythm when you start soft on the defensive end. And I do feel like that's been an issue.
I would love it if Kawhi got to 30 minutes against the Lakers Tuesday night. That'd be sweet.
We'll probably need him for 30, and yeah.
How about feeding Ivica Zubats after what happened today, by the way? Since there's this glaring guy missing on the Lakers that typically is matched up against Ivica Zubats, and he's not there, maybe you give Zubats more than 11 shots in a game where he played 40 minutes today.
That was crazy. Before we get into the bad parts and some of the good parts of the road trip, who are we picking for our player of the game picks for Tuesday night? I also want to give KPJ a shout out. He has a chance to build on the momentum he had today offensively. Will, who was your player of the game? Your James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Ivica Zubac, Norman Powell, honorary player of the game.
I'll go DJJ. He's had some highlights. He's been it seems like he's rounding into form. And I think that we'll need him against this Lakers team.
Need that athleticism. Adam,
Need it.
who is your pick?
I'll go Amir Coffee. What if Norm isn't back for this game? Then he's starting again.
Yeah.
And Amir's been good overall this season. He missed some 3-pointers in that third quarter when Clippers were just hunting for him, it seemed like today. But yeah, I'll go Amir.
Amir's a good pick. Okay. We don't know if Chris Dunn's going to play because I was going to choose him.
Do it.
Swing for the fences, dude.
Do it.
What's going on? There's not a lot of other people on the list if Chris Dunn's out to choose.
KPJ it is.
I'm not ready to put that much faith into KPJ yet. I don't think. I'm going Terrence. I think Terrence.
He's done it before.
He had some good hustle today, especially on the boards offensively. We're going to need him to do the little stuff. We're going to need him to do what we've kind of alluded to his maybe ceiling before is like Pat Bev stuff. Do the Pat Bev stuff. Have a chunky stat line. Hit one of your 2 threes, you know what I mean? Or one of the 3 threes you take. Like grab some key offensive boards. I'm going Terrence Mann. He's going to ruin their night. Anything else you want to say about this trade in this game before we do a very quick audio break?
I hate it. Not the game, the trade. Let's make them forget about the trade for a second. Let's have the Clippers thoroughly dominate the Lakers on Tuesday. That would be great to see because there's something else going on right now, and it involves that head-to-head tiebreaker.
God.
The Clippers need to win the season series against the Lakers. Starting 2-0 would go a long way.
Yeah, oh God. All right, Will, and any other last notes other than I hate it?
Well, we still have to see it on the court, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I hope they can figure it out.
It is. I mean, basketball players even like come on.
It is. It is a huge step back defensively. I don't know, man.
Well, wait till they get Miles Turner this week. Like they're not done. Yeah. They kept the first round pick. They're getting a big.
Well,
do you hate it now?
We always hated it.
Yeah, we always.
Let's level set before.
Did you hate it enough?
Don't hate us.
Thanks, Mavs.
Coming up, we're going to be talking the Clippers road trip that was a bit up and down. And then we're going to also talk the other bombshell trade that happened this week. If you're listening to us on audio, there's going to be some tasteful advertisements. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you get to see us just pause very briefly, suspended in silence for a brief second. Ads and then road trip top coming up in 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back into Clips and Dip. We did things a little out of order, but we got to get into this road trip. The Clippers just dropped one to the Raptors in what was a bit of a bummer, but there were some bright spots. There were some low points. Charles, do we want to start with what's positive or negative?
Let's go. I don't know. Adam's face is telling me we should maybe start with what was negative. So we're going to go. If you want to see what Adam's face looked like, find us on YouTube. Let's go negative. And do we kind of want to talk the Chris Dunn thing? Like not playing the whole road trip. It was evident how the Clippers missed his defense, especially against Phoenix. You just need another guy who's going to kind of make things more difficult for teams that are shooting jump shots. Like he was missed. And then obviously Norm Powell was incredibly missed against this Raptors team who had been playing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously had enough. All they needed was if James Harden or Kawhi has a good game, they probably win. Just one of those two. They both, I think they combined to go like 13 of 38 or something like that from the field.
Yeah.
And it was really Kawhi's first bad game of the 11 that he's played so far.
Yeah.
Limited minutes, but it was still obviously his first really bad game where he just didn't have it shooting wise and was frustrated with the officials and the lack of calls out there.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of negatives. There's also some real easy solutions for what happened today. Is Kawhi plays better or James Harden plays better, and they're likely coming back with a W.
And Norm plays, right? Because he looked phenomenal against the Spurs and the Hornets in games where we really needed that punch. So they don't seem too concerned about the Norm injury, which is good.
Looked like it happened at the end of the game against Charlotte.
And he played after it seemed like the incident happened because he obviously, if you've been watching the Clippers, Norm Powell is a very tough basketball player. So, yeah, he was able to come back, but we just hope he's there on Tuesday. Will, we're talking Norm Powell hopefully being there on Tuesday and that being one of the bad things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And no Norm. It's a bummer.
And then
I'm working on a roast back here, so I had to hop off for a sec.
Yeah, no problem. And then there was the theme of the day a little bit on some of these games was the unseriousness of the Clippers defense at some points over this road trip. Is that just a fatigue thing? Today, it seemed to me you could chalk it up a little bit to fatigue. It's the last of a road trip. It's their, they played every other day until I think like the 12th or 13th when they have a back-to-back. Like, is it just a fatigue thing? But it started out kind of tough too against the Spurs or the Suns, excuse me.
It's just a bummer because of the way that they have set the tone. And I think the Raptors won and sort of how close things got in Charlotte were like those to me were a little bit troubling just because we've seen this team do a really good job of not like playing the team's record. I think on the road against sub 500 teams going into this Raptors game, they were like 6-1. So dropping one, like it's not nothing. And these are games, especially we're talking about the importance of the Lakers matchup. You're talking about, a Western Conference landscape that could be changing in terms of what the standings are. We got a cat on cam. But it just makes it all the more important. And yeah, I don't know. This one was just a bummer to see. Like when they did not have when they did not have it together on that end of the ball at the start of this game, I was like, this is going to be a weird one. And it's it could be one that we drop. It was way too close for what it should have been. And it was any team. No team is a slouch. Any team can be great on any given night. Like these are the 450 best at this sport in the world. But you're not doing yourself any favors by like sort of letting them walk into stuff. And I just didn't feel like there was the intensity on that end of the floor today.
Yeah, I think point of attack defense just has not been as good on this road trip. They're missing Chris Dunn, but I feel like James Harden's defense has been worse than it usually is as of late.
Turnovers a little higher too, yeah? Like he looks a little sleepy.
Well, the game against was it San Antonio and Charlotte, I think he combined for 12 turnovers in those two games. And the Spurs game was he had 6 in the first half, apologized to the team at the half, and then didn't have any more. But then the next game he had 6 against Charlotte. I got to say, Charlotte played pretty damn well in that game because I think
they have people out.
Yeah, a ton of people out, and they're bad anyways. And they almost beat Denver, though, last night and helped out the Clippers. But they didn't turn the basketball over. And a big part of the Clippers' identity is points off of turnovers. They are second in the NBA. Basically, like 20% of their points per game come off of turnovers. And Charlotte was not giving them the basketball. So was that more about the Clippers not having that intensity? Was it Charlotte having a good game? LaMelo wasn't playing and they didn't turn the basketball over? I don't know. There are some warning signs out there, I think, defensively as of late for them. And then I didn't like the third quarter against the Raptors where they took 10 threes and hit 2 of them. Both were made by Nico Batum. And it just seemed like they were settling. Like, we're tired. We're not going to do the hard stuff and get into the paint.
Yeah, the ball movement, as the trip went on, the ball movement got worse for the Clippers. Even in the games that, like obviously against the Spurs, it was good and stuff like that. But this, you mentioned the Zubats thing. The man should have gotten more touches, especially if the shots aren't falling. If we're tired, right? The whole
especially if you're struggling to get an easy shot. Like how many times have we talked about like that is like that's your release valve. Like when for easy buckets to like make things easier on those other guys on the offensive end. Like feeds you a little bit more.
Oh fuck!
Oh no! Adam just got a claw.
And there's a 3-team trade that just went down.
Wait, what? Is it
DeRozan to the Spurs, Zach LaVine to the Kings, who they've had interest in for a long time in a multi-team trade. That is, I don't know about this one, Chief, from the Kings' perspective. Like, if they're not getting multiple firsts out of this as well, I don't know. Do you guys have details? I just saw it pop up on the TV screen, and they
No,
just dumbed that down to the players without any of the details.
Yeah, Shams hasn't tweeted out any of the details yet.
And
Dude,
the cat bit me hard.
They got Zach LaVine.
Kings fans are going to be irate.
I feel for him, man. That sucks.
The dirty little secret about the Kings is the reason their ceiling is capped is because of Domantas Sabonis. He's not a good rim protector. You can't have him as your 5. Like, unless you have a stretch 4 who also is a good rim protector, and those guys are really hard to find. Like we talk about all the time when people are like, just get a power forward. Well, he has to do these things to play next to Ivica Zubac. That's not easy. So there aren't any details, it looks like, out yet, but those are the 3 main guys. Man, the trades.
You gotta hate that. God. What is going on with these teams? Can the Clippers get a deal done with one of these teams that seem to be taking?
Where's our
for nothing?
Well, I don't know. We don't know the price that was paid here. I don't. Sacramento definitely is paying a price right now, and they better get at least 2 first-round picks. Like, if they get 2 first-round picks for De'Aaron Fox, and the Lakers didn't have to give up 2 for Luka.
Kings are trading De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs in a 3-team trade that lands Zach LaVine in Sacramento along with 3 first-round picks. That was the Haynes tweet.
They got 3?
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
That's good.
They did all right then. Is one of them coming from Chicago then?
I don't know.
I mean, San Antonio has so many. They can afford to give them away. San Antonio can still go out there and make another big move. They can.
Jesus. Do we count this as a bad part of the road trip or a good part of the road trip? Because we have a pain in the ass playing the Spurs, and it's not like the Kings got better. So this might be in the bad part of the road trip.
I mean, yeah, they were lucky to get that game with the Spurs. They still have one more against them. They play them 4 times this year, I think.
Yeah, they do.
So they will see De'Aaron Fox.
Makes the deal a little easier.
Fox does have, interestingly enough, I've been listening to a lot of stuff up in Sacramento just because this news, I'm from there and I have some interest in the NBA in general, but he has like some broken fingers or like fingers he needs surgery on that he's been playing through.
Damn.
So it's not all gravy right now for San Antonio, but yeah, that's a great tandem with him and Wemby. The West got better.
The West got better. We're going to talk about trades in the next segment because now the other thing that these 2 trades do is make people now lose their minds for big swing ideas.
Yeah. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse, and they're seeing all the other teams improve.
Well, half the other teams involved in these trades get better. The other half seem to be getting
Well, we ain't got to worry, though, about Chicago. I mean, yeah, I guess the Kings got worse at the moment, but I don't know how – it might not be that significantly worse considering where they are currently in the standings. Like, Zach LaVine is having a good year.
Yeah, but like, I mean, you've heard us talk about why we don't want Zach LaVine on our team. If I were a Kings fan, I'd feel the exact same way.
Here's the thing, though. If he had a 1-year contract or a 2-year deal and it wasn't bleeding into summer of 2027, I might feel differently about Zach LaVine.
Well, yeah, but sure, yeah. If he made $1 a year, I'd be like, let's have him on the team.
But I'm just saying, like, on the court product wise, I don't know if Sacramento is like significantly worse.
They're extending Kevin Huerter to Chicago.
He has been playing terribly.
So the Spurs are sending Trey Jones and Zach Collins to Chicago. Bulls also get Kevin Huerter. Jordan McLaughlin is going to San Antonio with Fox.
See, but the Kings did not. So they didn't get Castle. They didn't get Vassell. Those guys didn't get moved.
That's not. I just read to you the information that I have.
The Spurs. I mean, that's pretty impressive. The Spurs are going to be really damn good, and I think that's the move they should make. Like, why wait around for Wemby to be 25 or 28? Who cares that he's only 21? Oh, we're going to wait for his prime to go all in.
Yeah, just fucking go for it.
You never know how long a guy can stay healthy. Maybe it now.
Maybe in 7 years they'll trade him for a first-round pick and a guy 6 years older than he is.
So they're probably going to make another move with their young guys like Vassell and Castle, and they have another 3 or 4 first-round pick. Like, they're going to get somebody else. Team's getting better.
And are the Clippers getting worse?
So what you're saying is it's our year. It's definitely.
Oh yeah, Will had a theory actually.
Maybe the last.
Will
one.
had a theory.
I think a lot of people got scared when Kawhi came back. They thought they could smell that it was our year. They could tell that it was going to happen. And they the Clippers, they were too good. They started this arms race. What are you going to do? You can't over exceed expectations like that and then bring Kawhi back looking like he does and expect people not to notice. We should have flown under the radar a little more, man.
Shouldn't have traded PJ Tucker. That's what set this whole damn thing off.
Shouldn't have beaten the Spurs like that recently.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit because there was some good in the recap. Kawhi, other than today's game, looked great for the most part. He shut down the Spurs late with Norm, which was fun. The passing looked really good and not. He's seen it, we've seen him have good, passing games before, but he was getting guys involved really well.
Oh, shit. The Kings got the 2025 Charlotte Hornets pick?
Oh, my God.
Wait a second. Okay. They did well here. They're in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes.
That's insane.
Okay.
Yeah, I take it all back. 2025 Charlotte, 2027 San Antonio, 2031 Minnesota. All right.
They did pretty good.
Sacramento.
Okay.
They might get Cooper.
Charlotte has one. Yeah, Charlotte has the second worst record in the league. The third worst record. They're tied for the third worst.
I mean, that completely changes my perception of this trade. Damn.
They got 3 second-round picks, too? Holy shit. They could get Luke Kennard.
Hey, Lucas has been cooking lately. When Ja's been out.
On the Spurs? You're telling me Luke Kennard on the Spurs wouldn't do numbers? Oh, man.
This is wild.
This is, yeah.
Real-time reaction.
All right. Who cares about the road trip talk? Let's talk about if the Clippers are going to make another move now. Because is there... we're going to do a quick ad break real quick. Is there pressure on the Clippers to make another move? Coming up in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back in. It's Clips and Dip. I'm Adam Moslem. We got Chuck Mockler, Will Updike. In breaking news, we are reacting to currently and just workshopping segments here because this Clippers team looks like it's falling further behind the pack as the Sacramento Kings, I don't believe, got significantly worse this season, and San Antonio got significantly better. They're currently out of the play-in, but the Western Conference just got another team that will be fighting to get in it. And look, they go on a winning streak because they didn't give up the Cell and Castle. I don't know. They might make another move here. This is getting interesting. Are the Clippers standing pat? Did all of this basically put more pressure on the Clippers to make a move? Will?
I still don't think the Clippers are going to be loading up like these other moves. I still think you look at what they did to get. I think they have their eye on some buyout candidates. I don't think that they're going to make a home run move.
Wait a second. Lily Batum just did the emoji eyes thing above the Shams Charania tweet of Sacramento finalizing the deal with San Antonio. Do we read into that?
No, I do not. Well, I wouldn't look at
I think it's just because
the rest of her Twitter either in terms of things to read into. But
I'm guessing it's the French connection.
I think
it's the French connection.
Yeah.
Wemby's getting his counterpart.
Does this change your outlook, Adam? Because I still think I just don't think that they. I really don't think that they make a big swing.
What is the
okay? What? Yeah, they have apparently a first-round pick. Just one goes a long way in today's NBA landscape, based upon what we just saw with the Lakers and Dallas Mavericks. The Clippers have one. Who would you go out there and get? Like, it does feel like nobody is safe. All of a sudden, if Giannis got traded, I'd be like, well, I don't know. Luka just got traded too. Like, who knows? Sometimes there are no precursors to these things. They just happen once in a while. I'm not saying the Clippers will be able to get him because basically, do they have enough to make a big swing. Zach is out of the picture. Would they dare to go after Jimmy Butler? Would they dare to go after Brandon Ingram? Those are like the two big guys left that have been talked about.
They're not. I mean,
they're going to get Steph because he's just ready to get out of Golden State and we got the popcorn for him already.
Don't bring the popcorn up, bro.
Harden and Steph? We get even older?
The dumbest, and I mean, I agree. Like, they're not going to trade for Jimmy. I don't even think the coffers aren't full.
No,
we're not working with
pretty close to Barron.
A full arsenal of movable contracts and like
Amir Coffey in a first is too much for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, we need about $47 more million, I think.
I know.
Well, and then you look at players they have to trade, right? It's like Norm is making $19 million. Terrence Mann is making $11 million. The extension kicks in next year. How would they make anything work considering they already got rid of PJ Tucker?
Right.
That's why I think they're eyeing buyout candidates, and I'll let y'all finish, but I've got a wild one I want to toss your way.
Do we think so?
The buyout could be robust.
People criticize a little bit of including PJ in that last trade for Drew Eubanks because it might hurt flexibility for other big trades later. Everything that Lawrence Frank told us was they weren't.
It's just not on their radar.
Right. They can't do it. There's no the Colin Sexton trade idea. It's just not doable. We don't have the draft capital to do any of these.
Yeah.
I just think that you need to see one healthy Kawhi postseason before you're willing to involve a first or do anything crazy. And I know that this is our year, but it's our year if Kawhi can play one healthy postseason.
That's the new championship.
Before you see that, well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Before, like, how could you as a franchise tie in any more draft equity? How could you send valuable players out the door, especially like how the team has overperformed thus far until you see that?
The only thing I would say is, first of all, I agree with
basketball
that.
isn't played on paper. Like,
I don't think they should go all in either. We've been saying it the entire time. They shouldn't be doing that. It's too risky because you don't know about Kawhi's health. What would suck, but it's just something you'd have to deal with, is he finally is healthy in a postseason and you are a piece away.
Yeah.
That's what would suck. But
are they a piece away?
That's the risk. Depends, like, who is that guy? Who is that guy that's gettable? I don't know. Is Jimmy Butler put them over the top?
I think he also. I think he takes the locker room too, and I don't mean like he would come in. Like, it would just mess things up. The seismicness of how much you'd have to send out for Jimmy Butler, even if he came in and things were still good, you're still messing up the chemistry.
In this, like the space, like operating in the space with like him and Kawhi,
just
and like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I'm not a fan of that.
I didn't like DeRozan because of that type of issue with the spacing. Like, and you'd have to give up Norman Powell. If we're talking about Jimmy, if we're talking about Brandon Ingram, Norman Powell's gone, right? I think I'd rather have Norman Powell than Jimmy Butler at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot less bullshit
that
comes along with it too. Just not to be the guy who's only concerned about off the court stuff, but like, that's important for a team that's overachieving.
He's a 44% 3-point shooter now. The second year he's doing that.
He's a way better 3-point shooter, and his contract is like half the amount.
I would have been
for what the Clippers need. He makes a lot of sense. Like, he makes the most sense.
Are we looking at some unknown front court guy that maybe is available that we haven't thought about? And that's the missing piece for the Clippers, as so many people love to say.
Will has a take because there are some buyout candidates. And I have heard this take from some other people. And now,
never mind.
I've just been talking myself into this. Ben Simmons at backup center. If the Nets buy him out, the Clippers, the Clippers, in getting under the first apron, are now eligible to get buyout candidates. I think that Ben Simmons as the backup center I love the move. I love the move. I think that he got a super raw deal in that Doc was the worst possible coach for him, especially for a young, struggling player. He got thrown under the bus after Philly lost that series. He was never the same again. He's not a max player. He's not maybe even a starter in this league. But
He's on backup five.
As a backup five or in some small ball lineups, like with the starters, I think he gives some versatility that's interesting. And we don't need him to do the stuff that he cannot do already. Like it's fine. It's simpatico.
I did bring him up at the end of Clippers talk today. Like Ben Simmons on the buyout, you do. I didn't bring up the point of him as the backup center. I think it's interesting.
Because
he's been playing well as of late. Yeah, I think him with small ball would be very interesting.
Great. I mean, like great passer, a true.
I'm not against it at all.
Center size
can't play with can't be on the floor the same time as Zoo because then we have two.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, so it is a firm, but then the rotation. Now we have another guy. Like, who's out of the rotation then?
The Clippers do have the one advantage they do have is in the buyout market because any team over the first apron cannot pick up a guy like Ben Simmons, anybody who makes more in the mid-level exception, and they still have $3 million left from their mid-level exception they didn't use on DJ where they could offer more than just the veterans minimum.
I don't know where I'm at on the Ben Simmons thing. Because if they don't make the trade for Robert Williams, which I have no idea what that looks like totally, I would
prefer
be fine
Ben
with
Simmons just because of I don't know.
It's kind of
that's a tough call.
It's tough. Yeah,
I like the ceiling for the Ben Simmons backup center thing a little bit more, but floor wise,
because it helps it helps save Nico's legs, right? Because you can play Ben at the 5, and Nico can not have to be as depending on what he's going to be out there with, like. It's not, I mean, for what is available, the fit does make sense. If you have a lineup of James Harden, Norm Powell, Kawhi Leonard, Nico Batum, and Ben Simmons, everyone is a pretty damn good play connector who isn't James Harden there with passing the ball. There's things to be had, and the defense is obviously pretty solid. 3, 4, 5 right there.
Is a player like that who's so limited with who he can play next to, and he can't play next to Ivica Zubac, is that the best guy to go after in the buyout? Is the question.
But also, any other center we get's not going to play next to Ivica Zubac, and like the guy we're talking about here isn't going to be getting tearing off the pants to come on in the playoff game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think like.
What do you think, Adam? What are you eyeing someone in the, like, who are you eyeing in front court as a buyout candidate?
In the front court, I don't know.
Or do you want somebody else?
Drew Eubanks. I was thinking about if Lonzo gets bought out. That's somebody I've been thinking about. Because there's just more options with him playing next to a lot of different guys. Well,
have too many guards.
I'm hoping it eliminates certain guards from playing as much, but
I don't know.
Yeah, that may be a lost cause. That ship may have sailed.
What about Brogdon?
Yeah, I would think either of those guys, it depends on if they got traded and then somebody just ended up buying them out in like a 3-way trade or something like that.
Right.
Because otherwise they should be able to get something for Lonzo. They should be able to get something for Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
But it totally could happen where some of these good guys do get bought out. I mean, I like Brogdon too. Who can be healthier between the two? I think has Lonzo played more games than Brogdon this year?
Yeah, we're talking about some very let me check.
Maybe this year, but don't look at the last 3.
Well, no,
we did do an extensive podcast once when the Clippers had Brogdon for a hot minute.
Funny.
And I like him.
All right, so Lonzo's at 28.
I think he's got Brogdon beat.
Brogdon's at 19. He's got him beat kind of soundly, by not an insignificant margin.
I think with Lonzo, it's been more about they've just brought him along intentionally very slowly. Not he's been re-injured this season. Right. They just have done a slow ramp up. So I might be more interested in Lonzo. I don't know.
Then the slow ramp up, then we get into more rotation confusion. Because then we're working Lonzo in with KPJ and Terrence Mann and Chris Dunn, who's going to be coming back. Like, then we're getting the Olive Garden again, right? Then we're just.
Do you need KPJ if you have Lonzo?
It's not a question of need. KPJ's playing. We're not like he's a tie guy. It's not. We saw him be good today on offense when the Clippers needed, but like he's a tie guy.
I was like, "Where's KPJ?" By the third quarter, I was like, "Why are they putting KPJ back in? Like their offense, they got nothing. They're just shooting a bunch of threes."
Well, like it's February 2nd. He's still our backup point.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right.
Which makes sense for the construction right now. I just like if you have a guy who what he does is like he handles the ball. He's like a connector. I don't know.
So back to front court.
Back to front court.
Who can we get?
You guys love guards. You want more guards. I don't understand it, but
well, so that's the thing.
I want replacement guards
because then we get
changing up the guards.
Yeah. I'm just starting to get. There's a roster crunch. If we get another guard, especially, there's a roster crunch with not that much time left before the playoffs to really get it nailed in. I have faith in Tyler to be able to do that, but you'd like a longer runway with a set actual playoff rotation.
Let me ask you this. Would you give up Terrence Mann for Robert Williams?
Oh, man. No, because I think they might value Terrence's playoff, just floor-raising abilities over what Robert Williams would do in the playoffs. But that might be wishful.
How many games has Robert Williams played this season?
I think at least 20.
Oh, good.
Hell, wait,
good.
Sign me up, baby.
There's real concerns, but I think he's much more of a need than what Terrence brings. I love him.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like Robert Williams, when available, is a starting level center. I think Robert Williams is a starting level center healthy.
Right, but I mean,
when will that happen?
What's his latest thing? Has he been playing?
He's been in and out.
I don't
think it's been the knee, but I'm not the same knee. Yeah, it's a wrist.
I will just never have that in my head when he had the full robot leg. When they were working him back in with the Celtics.
That was crazy.
But how much is Terrence going to be playing?
No, I mean,
I feel you.
Yeah.
I still feel like you're selling a little low though.
It sounds like they might want a first for Robert Williams.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
I know.
But you're right, because you are right.
Two firsts for KPJ.
If KPJ is taking the old Terrence role and we need a backup center and Terrence isn't going to play, like it or not, the whole KPJ minutes, it's like that. I mean,
no, I think that absolutely makes sense. Yeah. I still think you're selling a little low, but
he's not playing much and they don't have Dunn right now. How is he playing if they're healthy?
Yeah.
And then if he's not playing, his value will tank further.
Right.
For this summer and beyond.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Where Robert Williams, it could even be a boat.
He has a year after this, I believe. Robert Williams.
Good.
So it's not an expiring.
How many games has he played in his career? 200?
Maybe.
He's been in the league 6 years?
Are you counting? Are you counting get ready games, stay ready games?
But he's so good and so needed when he's available.
He's played 232 games
in 6 seasons.
He has played 17 times this season.
How much of that could be Portland?
Adam could fix him.
Portland,
Yeah, Adam. Yeah, Adam's like, I'm ordering the jersey, dude.
Some of this could be Portland stashing him for trade. I don't know.
Stashing him.
Put him in bubble wrap.
Easy guy to stash. Easy guy to stash if you're hurt.
Hey, if the Lakers end up getting him and he's cooking.
I do want to say that I hate that these are the trades that we're talking about after reacting to Luka to the Lakers.
And Fox to San Antonio
just
now.
Doesn't feel as marquee. But I guess that is because our team is pretty well constructed.
I mean, like the craziest one would be some sort of Brandon Ingram move. I think
the craziest realistic one is Terrence Mann for anybody. I think, yeah.
The craziest realistic one
for a trade possibility, yeah, for the Clippers, because Terrence. I think that's probably the craziest it gets is trading Terrence Mann.
And if you're trading Terrence, you're getting something.
Hopefully.
You're getting something interesting.
Couple seconds.
Yeah, but somebody that makes $11 million at least.
Yeah, who makes $11 million and who's the center? Man,
I think Robert Williams.
I think that's the guy. I literally think you're right.
That's why I brought it up. I think their salaries match or close to.
NBA contracts. Yeah, what a weird. There's going to be pressure on the Clippers to make a bigger move. There's going to be pressure on every team that's not in the play-in to make a huge swing now from fans specifically.
Unless
because we're nervous.
There's a chance though that the Clippers just feel like we're good. We're stable when healthy.
I think that's what they
they might be feeling like they're overachieving right now.
Yeah.
And they're not going to risk any more of the future, giving up any of it. They may just be resigned to this is what we got. If we can get somebody good on the buyout, awesome. Or if somebody comes to us with a no-brainer trade for Terrence Mann, great.
Sure.
But outside of that, we're not taking any risks.
Yeah.
Just for this year, for something for this year.
Yeah. So it's going to be boring up until February 6th for the Clippers, probably.
That's what I think. I don't know. I mean, that's obvious. That's the most likely outcome. That we all thought that.
Yeah.
Whew.
So I reject my original question. Does this put more pressure on the Clippers?
It does from fans, but not from a realistic, not from the Clippers front office standpoint.
Prepare for not a lot.
Yeah.
Just because everybody else
have your go bag ready, but we're not ready. We're not in evacuation. Yeah. I don't know.
We're gonna get off this podcast and
they're gonna trade fucking Norm and Kawhi for somebody. All right. That about wraps things up. We're gonna be doing a post game live after Clippers versus Lakers on Tuesday over at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast. Come hang out. They're a fun time. Will, this was a fun and weird episode because of the things that happened during it. Where could people tell their friends to listen to our older episodes where, it's pretty even keel? We talk movies, we talk dips. And where could they maybe review us if they wanted to do that?
Yeah, if you want to listen to all the episodes of this show, old and new, make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. If you happen to listen over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead, leave a little rating or review. It'd help us out. You can also leave comments over there on Spotify. But best place to catch this show, we have fun, and you can just see us on video, is over at youtube.com. That's @ClippersPodcast. Please subscribe, sign up for notifications. But however you consume this show, hey, we appreciate you.
We absolutely do. Adam, one positive thing to launch Clipper Nation into Lakers week. Luka's Lakers is what I'm calling them now, just to infuriate everybody.
Lukers.
The Lukers.
Oh God. Yeah, that's it. You got it.
The Lakers can get all the Luka Doncic's they want. The Spurs can get all the De'Aaron Foxes they want. The Kings can get all the draft picks they want. It's still the Clippers' year, baby.
Hey, there we go. What a way to start the week.
A quick apology to Nate Jones. That was spillover hatred from the Lakers getting Utah. I'm sure he's a great guy.
We hope everyone has a wonderful week. We will see you on Tuesday after the Clippers hopefully beat the Lukers. And as always, let's go Clips.